name is Kara and I am the program lead here at the Sewalk location of Fresh Fruits in Coquitlam. Here at Sewalk, we're lucky enough to work in a beautiful area with a greenhouse, an orchard, farmscape, and a 7-acre forest filled with native species. I have the privilege and honor to work on this land that I know is not my own. Fresh Fruits operates on the ancestral and unceded homelands of the Tsawwassen, Coquitlam, Katsik, Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, Kaikai, and Squamish Coast Salish peoples. As settlers, as farmers, and as educators, we acknowledge the harm that farming and schooling has had on Indigenous peoples and the land in this region. We work towards ongoing reconciliation as listeners, food sharers, and land stewards. Today I want to introduce you to 5 native species that I consider to be my friends, and I'm so thankful to interact with every day here at Sewalk. This is my friend, the red flowering currant. It grows really tall and kind of goofy looking lanky stems. Red currant is a shrub in the gooseberry family. The main difference between currants and gooseberries is that currants don't have prickly stems, whereas gooseberries do. You can certainly tell the difference if you're ever picking gooseberries versus when you're picking currants. Red currant has really beautiful lobed leaves that are hairy just on the undersides. They also produce these beautiful red-pink flowers that hummingbirds and butterflies love. Later in the summer, it'll produce beautiful red berries that may not be super tasty if you just eat them raw, but they're really wonderful as a jam. Red currant berries are packed with vitamins B, C, and E, packed with beta-carotene, iron, and magnesium. This is my friend, the smoky serviceberry. It's native to BC and it's in the Rosaceae family, which you can also find blackberries, raspberries, and salmonberries in. It's a woody deciduous perennial shrub, meaning that every winter it loses all of its leaves and then in the spring it sprouts back and grows even bigger. This shrub can grow up to 12 feet high and 12 feet wide. It has beautiful clusters of white flowers that get pollinated by bees and butterflies. It has these beautiful red berries that can be eaten raw or turned into jams or dried. They're also really enjoyed by a lot of species in nature, including chipmunks, bears, all kinds of birds, and small rodents. Fun fact, although these berries are very safe to eat, some of the young twigs on these plants actually produce chemicals that keep them safe from being eaten by predators. So if a deer or an elk or a bear eats more than 25% of its diet in the young twigs of this species, it can get really sick and even die. That may seem kind of scary, but if you're a plant, you need a way to protect yourself since you can't run away. A lot of plants produce chemicals that are toxic to animals or have thorns or other ways to protect themselves. The serviceberry does a really good job. The berries are there for you to enjoy, just don't eat the foliage. This is my friend yarrow. It's in the aster family along with sunflowers, daisies, and chrysanthemums. You've probably seen one of these flowers before. The coolest thing about the aster family is that what you think is one flower is often hundreds of flowers. So for example, on a sunflower, you think that might be one flower. It's actually composed of hundreds of little flowers all packed together. And where each seed develops in a sunflower was a flower that was pollinated by an insect. For yarrow, the flowers are collected all in the middle. So it can be found in many different regions throughout BC. Yarrow leaves and roots were used by Indigenous peoples and are still used today in tinctures, in salves, and in teas to help with toothaches, cold symptoms, and to help break fevers. If you've ever thought these beauties were weed in your garden, think again. They're great for the pollinators. There's actually medicinal uses. You can use them as a tea, and they're so beautiful. They are a little stinky though. These are my friends, the salmonberry. They're also in the Rosaceae family, so they're related to blackberries, raspberries, and many other berries and roses. The birds and most other forest wildlife love to eat them, including me. These berries are very, very beautiful. These shrubs can grow up to 12 feet tall and 12 feet wide. They produce beautiful bright pink flowers and salmon-colored berries early in the spring. Although salmon berries are salmon-colored, that may or may not be the origin of the name. It's thought that salmon berries got their name because they were often paired with salmon roe by indigenous peoples in this area. Salmon berries are considered a bramble, which is a rough, prickly, and kind of tangled shrub. If you've ever picked salmon berries in the forest, you'll know this because you've probably had some of their prickles stuck in your arm, or at least scratch your arm a little bit. So you have to be careful when you're picking them. I've been enjoying these salmon berries for a couple weeks now, and they're about to stop fruiting, which makes me really sad, but I'm enjoying them while I can. The native species here at Sewolk are a major part of what makes this such an educational, healthy, and biodiverse ecosystem that we get to interact with and share with our youth. If you're interested in learning more about some of the native species here in BC, or even buying some native species to put in your own garden, head over to freshfruits.ca and check out our shop where we have native plants for sale and tons of information about all the different species that we have here.